Thank you for joining us for Small Talks for Big Change, where we help simplify financial topics to help with your financial wellness. Greetings, friends, and thank you for tuning in to a very special episode where we are honoring one of our industry's most influential figures in financial education. We're talking the one and only Miss Veronica Dangerfield. She is currently Patelco's Senior Financial Wellbeing Educator and more commonly known as your financial cheerleader. Veronica Dangerfield has dedicated her life to bringing financial literacy to underserved communities through her work at Patelco. Veronica has taught financial education for over 20 years at the college level, as well as at dozens of high schools and nonprofit organizations throughout Northern California. Most recently, in 2025, she was recognized as the Institute of Financial Literacy's Financial Educator of the Year, and she has also received numerous awards throughout her career, including, you ready for this? It's a long list.
Oh my gosh, you're not going to read the whole list.
I'm going to read the whole list. I had to consolidate some. So 2015, and these are industry awards through credit unions. So 2015, 2017, 2019, and 2023 recognizes Credit Union National Association's Financial Education Awards, both for adults and for youth, first place. She was awarded in 2017 as Credit Unions Rock Stars by America's Credit Unions. In 2011, the winner of the acclaimed Innovative Teaching Award by the Visa Corporation. 2023's Credit Union Financial Education Network's award for most participants reached. In 2024, helped attribute to MasterCard Community Award for community doing good. And then, of course, this year recognized by the Financial Institute of Financial Literacy as the Financial Educator of the Year. I was lucky enough to be there with you to receive that award and get on the Jumbotron in New Orleans. That was a treat. If you are a Patelco Credit Union member, you likely have joined one of her many webinars offered, listened to her podcast, or have seen her videos on our YouTube channel. And if you live in the Bay Area, there's a good chance that you've attended one of Veronica's thousands of classes and speaking engagements over the years. If you have seen her give a financial education class, you probably left feeling inspired by her words. Today, we're joined by Veronica and two other longtime credit union educators to pay tribute to the impact that Veronica has made throughout her career. She will be riding off into the retirement sunset soon, and we want to celebrate her with you all. We've got Andrew Farrell, our financial well-being educator, and Christy Longoria, our financial well-being program partner for Patelco, and they're with us here to celebrate. Friends, this is super bittersweet that we're here sharing the studio for the last time together. Veronica, congratulations on your upcoming retirement.
I am thrilled and excited to be an international bag lady. Where in the world is Veronica Dangerfield?
That is what we're going to be saying. We were even joking about getting you an Apple tag.
Because I will be lost. Promise.
Can you just talk a little bit about your career and what you have next for retirement?
Well, one of the things that I really embraced was financial compassion. It's really hard for me to see people suffer because of money. And with some reframing and a lot of financial hugs, I think that, we can do better and feel better and heal. And I also love that I'm silly, because then I could be lighthearted about the information, which releases the shame of not being able to understand finances, because financial education is education. It's a learned behavior. That had just made me super happy that I can talk about money and credit and not have people run out of the room screaming, but actually laughing because they found out that there's nothing wrong with them and everything is going to be hunky-dory.
Can we talk about your adage, pay yourself first? And you're not the only person that says pay yourself first. We like to think of you as the godmother that coined that phrase. But when we ask you about what you're looking most forward to in retirement, you talk about this idea of time freedom. But pay yourself first. and time freedom, they really do correlate, don't they?
Absolutely. So pay yourself first means that you are your financial priority and not your bills and your obligations. When you pay yourself first, you do not end up on the paycheck to paycheck bandwagon. Nobody likes that. It's just not good. So because I paid myself first diligently, I'm able to command my own time so that I can have time freedom, because I'm not retiring. I am just going to be making decisions on how long I want to be on vacation with nobody shaking their head saying, I don't think so.
So V, you've had such an impact on the credit union industry, and nearly 15 years ago, I met Christy, who's with us today, when we were working at another Bay Area credit union, and her and I had the pleasure of developing a lot of financial education programs when we were at that credit union. And part of our planning each year was to figure out how we were going to outdo your programs here at Patelco. We aspired to achieve greatness. We were, admiring you from afar in that financial education space, and just always found ourselves trying to emulate what you were doing, just trying to have as much inspiration as you were giving to your participants. I think we beat you once in those award categories that we rattled off, but you definitely set the standard for greatness with this work.
Every year when we looked at our financial education programming and we took a look at who in the industry is doing something that is different, it was always Veronica. It was always you. And different means there's a command of a topic, of a subject, being able to speak to it, being true to it. But in credit union space, what it means to save, and maybe you got, your spend, save, borrow buckets, and all of these things. But with Veronica's presence, you could feel it across a room. And your career has landed you in many rooms, on many stages, on many classrooms around the nation. And to be able to watch somebody be so genuine about what it means to educate was so impactful for me as somebody who identified as being an educator. And financial education and education, being able to teach, they are very different. And that's why credit unions are so powerful in their network, because everybody's program looks a little bit different. But something that just captures my attention about somebody, is passion and where they are speaking from. How true are they to the message that they are sending? And there's so much to admire about Veronica's ability to level an entire room, take everybody back down to basics, and just talk to them. You've been everywhere. Formerly incarcerated, currently incarcerated, continuation schools, nonprofits, the deepest of deep Oakland, without hesitation that she knows she's going to go into somewhere, some classroom, some wherever, and change somebody's perspective of themselves and of their lives. And how gifted and how amazing is that to be able to witness? I don't even know what the industry is going to do post Veronica, but what does that even mean? There were times, when I had to talk to you as manager and remind you that you are one person. And, we laugh all the time about, Veronica being all over the world at any given time. Who knows where she is? She's in Egypt. She's in Jamaica. She's in China. She's here and she's there. And then without a beat would come back and have a presentation 8 a.m. the next morning. And I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yes, your PTO is your PTO. You do whatever you want on that PTO, your time off. But give yourself some time to adjust when you come back, because you don't even know what time zone you're in. I don't even know how to play. I'm like, is she gonna show up? And she never failed. She was always there. And I think that's just so powerful, and how easy you make things look. When you stand on a stage and you watch Veronica, you immediately, your first thought is, this is what she's meant to do. This is what she's meant to do. This is who she is. It's so easy for her. It's not always easy. You have to be that when you don't feel that way. is one of the most challenging things that a presenter can ever have to deal with. You don't feel good, but your partners are waiting on you, right? You know that the population that you're serving is literally waiting for you. They wait a month, right? And Veronica's coming back today. I want to make sure that I'm participating in my program so that I can see her. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of time away from home. It's a lot of meals in your car. It's all of these things that everybody looks at and they can appreciate. But do they truly know what it takes to stand up in front of people when you don't feel good, when you are just not in that right mind space, but you can turn it on instantly? It is such a skill.
Christy, thank you so much.
It is such a skill.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah.
My youngest son at my son's wedding says, my mom is too loving.
Oh,
To be able to call that. But, I think everybody deserves to have a good relationship, especially with money. And because, you have all of these emotions that float around, but you can attach them to money. And so money becomes something else rather than just a tool. But I thank you for that. I mean, my eyes are watering because it has definitely been a labor of love for me. And thank you for acknowledging that, because this is my jam. I just
Famous words.
love people.
Yeah.
you can often find Veronica telling a crowd that this is what she was put on this earth to do. And I think you have everybody in those rooms believing it by the time that you're done. Andrew, you've been working closely with Veronica this last year.
Yes, I have.
And working on a succession plan to fill her shoes as Patelco's new financial.
There's no filling Veronica's shoes. I mean, thank you, but
But you guys have complemented each other so well.
Yeah.
What would you say about you two that makes you such a great match?
Veronica's just my girl. I feel like we have a lot of things in common. I don't want to say on a superficial level, but like on a surface level, we both really enjoy traveling. We're both foodies. We both love a 70s R&B throwback here and there. We like to sing. So I think when Veronica came on our team, there was sort of an immediate kind of click that we had just for things we have in common. And then one thing that I really enjoyed about having Veronica on our team is that I myself am someone who is, as you said earlier, a little silly. I can be a little goofy. I like to have a sense of humor about things. And I have always felt a little insecure about that in the financial space, because I feel like a lot of times I wasn't serious enough, or I wasn't presenting as, professional or adult enough or whatever. And I've really learned from Veronica that professionalism and silliness and goofiness and lightheartedness can really go hand in hand. I actually think it's really effective that way. I think you're able to command people's attention more that way when you are bringing a sense of levity and a sense of lightheartedness. I always, when I am delivering any kind of financial education or really anything in life, try to approach it with a sense of as much joy and positivity as I can. And I think that's another thing that Veronica and I both have in common, is that we both believe in, not to sound super woo-woo-y, but the power of manifestation. You get what you give back, or you give, hold on, how do I word this? You get what you put out. And that's been something that I think has really clicked with the both of us as well, is that we both really try to prop up that ideology and let people know that, they can do anything. And that's also a thing, kind of piggybacking off what Christy said. Veronica's ability to empower a room is wild. The way that I, see her talk to people and they're actually listening. People who at the beginning of the class or the presentation were not tuned in, at the very end are eating out of the palm of your hand, because you're saying things that really, really speak to them on, I think, a deep level. I think a lot of times with money, people are told they can't afford this, they can't get out of debt, they can't ever buy a house, they can't. And Veronica is so good at letting people know the truth, which is that they can. You do have the power within you to make these things happen for yourself, make your financial dreams come true, not to sound super corny. And that's something that I have really taken away from Veronica, as well as Veronica has always really pushed the idea of everyone having a unique relationship with money, and how your relationship with money, like you've said before, my relationship with money is the longest relationship I've ever had. Looking at money as something that you're, in a relationship with is something that's really helped me when I'm delivering financial education as well, because it forces you to come at it from a place of like empathy and, understanding people's emotions, understanding the why behind why people make the financial decisions that they do. And I think Veronica is so skilled at kind of addressing that and relating to that with people, because, like any relationship that we have in our lives, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have times where you feel really good about it, sometimes when you don't feel good about it. And it's just about building that resilience. That is something that I've definitely taken away from watching Veronica work, and something that I'm hoping to implement as I continue on this path of financial education.
We talk all the time about these Veronica-isms, right? And this last year, we've been preparing for your retirement, and we keep saying we're going to document all of your Veronica-isms. There's so many to share, but one of them that you say all the time, to Andrew's point about manifesting your goals and dreams, is you're saying that you create what you pay attention to. Can you talk a little bit more about what you mean by that?
So I like to use that, especially with young people, teenagers, because I tell them, well, what are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to your grades? Because you create what you pay attention to. So if you're paying attention to your grades, you're going to have better grades. If you pay attention to your money, you will have better financial health. And it's just so catchy. You create what you pay attention to. Where energy goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
And money is an emotional. You have an emotional relationship with the money. So when you teach it, you have to come at it, not with just words, but with energy. Because the energy, I think, is what makes the impact. I will never be a talking head. I am super creative, and I can't remember long enough to be consistent. So I don't even know what's going to happen. But I do know that when I get in front of people and I see their eyes light up, money is a tool. You don't work for money. Money works for you. And all of a sudden, when you see a young person's eyes light up and they get it, it's like winning the lotto every day for me.
Another one of your sayings is that you're prone to spontaneous behavior, as already witnessed on this podcast. Veronica's also a professional comedian, for those of us that didn't know, and she uses humor to reach those that she teaches. Christy, I know you got a bunch of Veronica stories and stories related to humor. Any ones that stand out?
Oh my gosh, if you've ever seen Veronica talk to students, it's hilarious because you've got, two very distinct personalities in the same room. The youth that are going to challenge her and the one who can't be challenged. It's just such a fun dynamic to watch her speak to our youth, and especially when she's working with our higher need youth and things like that too, because, she doesn't change. She doesn't change. And I know that the youth really appreciate that. They're not listening to somebody else coming in and talking to them about, what are their next goals that they have to do. Here's what I think that you should do as somebody in, whatever situation that you're in. She's able to come and she's able to just say, be yourself, right? And then she's able to show it, what it means to be herself. And I remember one time we went out to one of our youth communities, and it was one of those classes that are, this is the struggle of the financial educator. You don't know sometimes when you're walking into what you think is a classroom is actually not a classroom at all. It's a yurt, it's a whatever, it's just a shelter, it's a parking lot, whatever it ends up being. And there were some youth there that were there for the pizza, honestly. It's always the kind of component being offered by the organization, and then there's the pleasure of Veronica also happening to be there, right? That's the student mentality. It's like, get my pizza, and then there's this lady there that's going to talk to me about money. Things that don't matter to me. I'm just there for the pizza. And it was a community room, and it was just some couches and people kind of like coming and going, and she started to talk about, money and all these things, and there's little games and stuff being played on the side, and she doesn't stop, right? And when you think of teachers, when you go back to your elementary school, high school, middle school days, and when people aren't following the directions, teacher's going to come in and kind of corral you back and call your attention to come do what you're supposed to be doing. She just keeps talking. And there's like little games and stuff going on, doesn't pay attention to it. And that is the magic of an educator. You don't have to call attention all the time and pluck people out of their environment and make them channel them, because that's not what they were there for initially. You're not going to be successful doing that. So she just keeps talking, and eventually one by one start to listen. And you've spent less time getting their attention by just letting them come organically to the space and participate without demanding. If you ever tried to demand a teen to do anything, you're up against quite a boulder there. And it was so funny to just watch her continue to be herself in this space where she wasn't part of it initially by, the students gravitate towards what she's saying. Student pops up, hops on a piano in the middle of her talking. She took back, let him play. That was beautiful. How long have you been playing? And all of a sudden it was like, oh, like this person who was kind of seeking attention, not thinking that they were going to get that kind of attention, is now all of a sudden totally engaged and wanting to listen to what she has to say. But to watch her in those bit, and you can see her just like, I'm going to give him the space. Go ahead with that piano. You're a fantastic piano player. And just watch that dynamic it's such a rewarding, and it's funny, to just think back to those kind of moments and be like, what an amazing position that you have been able to be in, to just go and do you, have people join you along that way and participate in the way that they see fit. And that is what makes it so effective.
And I'm not afraid of being cringeworthy. So I try to rap to the kids. I tell them, limit of language is limit of mind. If you can't talk money, you won't have a dime. And they go like, what? Who is this money lady trying to rap? And then they'll start snapping their fingers. And these are the communities that I end up in are, children without parents, foster kids, are young people on the fringes. So when you come with the love and attention and you speak life into people, where can you go where people speak life into you and love into you and joy into you and inspiration? You don't get it from social media. No. If you don't have parents, where do you get it from? I try to, when I walk into there, to be love with education. So that they know that they're part of a community.
Andrew, any funny stories to share from this past year? I know you got...
I have a Veronica story. It's not from this past year. It's actually from many, many years ago. And it's not about like any kind of financial education that she delivered, but I think it really speaks to Veronica's character. I've told you this story once. I don't think you remember it, but I'm going to tell it again. This was back when I was working at the Concord branch. So it was, probably 2018 or 2019. I knew who you are because everybody in Patelco knows who Veronica Dangerfield is. At the time, I don't think you knew who I was. I was just like a branch employee. It was at the end of the day. You were in the conference room having some sort of meeting. We were closing up. I was wiping down the coffee machine as you guys are coming in. And as I go to put the coffee machine back, like push it on the thing, I hit, just like that. I hit the water valve and it breaks, and water just starts spraying directly on my face, on my clothes. Without missing a beat, Veronica takes her coat off and just jumps in, wraps the water in the coat, tries to just help me contain the situation. And I just remember being like, I've seen Veronica at new hire orientation, at Spirit Day, things like that, talking about empowering people and being helpful. And in that moment, I'm like, she really does walk the walk, because she doesn't know who I am. She didn't have to ruin her coat to help me fix this water. And then she stayed and helped me clean the water up off the floor. And I was just like, you don't know who I am. You don't have to do this, but you did. And that's, I think, really speaks to who Veronica is as a person. Very helpful, very just willing to get her hands dirty. And yeah, you had my respect. Not that you didn't before, but on a personal level from that point forward.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
One of Veronica's last engagements here was holding a session at our Spirit Day, but the session was meant to empower our employees in the area of credit. She was in a full, long money dress that she got on Amazon. That was the first thing she did when she was at. She knew exactly what she was going to wear. She was going to buy giveaways for everyone. She was going to give out books, which she's also prone
I
to
look
doing.
like money. because I had a big dollar bill on.
And did we bring out the money gun for that show?
You know what? I had the money gun. It had no money in it.
Oh, no.
We have to give Patelco a budgeting lesson.
Prone to spontaneous behavior, folks. You never know what you're going to get. Looking back, Veronica, any favorite memories?
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. When I first started doing financial education here at Patelco, I did it because I wanted to do it, and it wasn't my job. And so the manager would always ask me what I was doing, and I would tell them I was teaching. And they would go, "Is that your job?" And I go, "No, I'm only going to do it this one time." And I did that until I actually manifested a job teaching. And so I'm very, very grateful for Patelco because I'm a creative and I'm really not professional, they let me alone. Whatever she's doing, just let her do it because I was able to put my heart and my passion in, even though I'm not corporate. I'm just
Yourself.
me. I'm just me. And being able to survive for 20 years in a corporate setting, I feel extremely lucky and extremely blessed because I do not belong here.
All right, folks, we've got the best of the best in this room with the very, very best that we're sending off into the sunset. If you haven't had the pleasure of seeing Veronica Dangerfield in action, you are in luck because she is forever memorialized on Patelco's YouTube channel. Before we send her off, just want to hear any last words of wisdom, inspiration from our favorite financial cheerleader.
I was put on this planet to teach about money, financial health, and to also preach about compassion. You have to have a relationship with money like you have a relationship with yourself. You have to spend time with money, and you have to allow the relationship to grow in love, respect, humility, and inspiration. And I'm also here to, as Andrew stated, to be lighthearted about it. So have a great financial life. Take the opportunity to be friends with your money and allow it to give you the life of your dreams. Plan how you spend so that you can manifest versus looking back with tracking. And know that regardless of where you are in this world, you are loved, you are valued, you are honored, and you are a very important aspect for not only our community, but for your families and the world at large. So I'm signing off, but I will be I will be back and I will be around to support your financial health. Thank you so much, Michelle, Christy, and Andrew, and Summer.
We are so proud of you for not sharing your cell phone number. She is prone to sharing her cell phone
My number is.
But we do invite you to send any notes our way, either for the show or to Veronica directly by emailing us at webinars@patelco.org. You can also find Veronica on LinkedIn. And Veronica, we just want to wish you a very special time in retirement. And we know this is not the last time we're going to see you.
I'm going to stalk you guys. I have time now. That concludes today's episode of Small Talks for Big Changes, where we help simplify financial topics to help you with your financial wellness. Come back for our next podcast. Patelco Credit Union is insured by NCUA.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. To watch more, subscribe or click here to watch the next video.